I am back testing some of TikTok's most viral recipes, and these are of the cheese variety. I've got 4 easy, cheesy recipes. I'm sorry. And I'm gonna test all of them to see if they are as virally delicious as TikTok says they are. This video is also sponsored by HelloFresh, and before I give you my discount code for them, I have to dive deep into this queso dip because I think it's the therapy that I actually really need right now. I am obsessed with Mexican restaurant queso dip, so I'm on the hunt for the best queso dip of all time, and I found a recipe on TikTok that looked like it could be a really good version. It's actually pretty easy to make. First, you're going to shred about 2.5 cups of cheddar cheese and then add and mix in about a tablespoon or so of cornstarch to thicken up the dip. Then you're gonna melt your butter on a skillet and then add in some chopped onions, a tablespoon of minced garlic, chopped Roma tomatoes and their juices, and then a can of evaporated milk. Then you're gonna fold in the cheese. The Schitt's Creek fans know exactly what I'm talking about. You're gonna fold the cheese into the mixture and you're gonna let all those flavors kind of simmer together for a few minutes. Then you're gonna add in some seasonings like cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika, and you have got yourself some queso dip. If you really wanna get fancy, you can add in jalapenos or cilantro. I didn't wanna get too far off of the recipe because I wanted to see maybe this is the perfect blend. I got queso healing. It's already starting off on a bad foot. Jeez Louise, I can't even speak because of all the cheese. Someone needs to restart me right now. Like unplug me and then plug me back in. It's not quite the cheese that I want, but maybe it's the cheese that I need. I really am into that white creamy queso from Mexican restaurants. I just have to get over the fact that maybe I'll never have that. Maybe I'll never be able to recreate that. I think I need one more bite. I would give this recipe a B+. It's really good. It tastes like you're at like a football party. It kind of tastes like chain restaurant cheese dip. But is it on your final food list? You know, before you leave this planet, everybody has a final food list, right? Am I the only one? Let me know. It's not my favorite version. It also isn't authentic. It tastes like a twist. It tastes like maybe a Texas twist on queso. It's got too many things in it. It's not pure. It's not pure enough to get an A. I'm sorry. I'm the teacher. I decide what the grade is. It does feed a lot of people. Like, this is so much cheese. I may not go to the bathroom for the next 6 months. Let's talk about grilled cheese, which is another go-to classic recipe that you need to nail in order for everyone involved to be happy. This recipe looks legit. This might be the best grilled cheese recipe I've ever seen and maybe even tasted. So for this grilled cheese, instead of usually using regularly sliced bread or sourdough bread, I decided to plus it up and use this cheese focaccia bread, which I think probably is gonna taste even better than the original recipe. The next step is introducing one of the most controversial condiments of all time, mayonnaise. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna slather one side of each slice. You're gonna slather it with mayo. I did make a mistake here that I'm gonna fix in just a second. Then you're going to either layer your sandwich with either American cheese or Colby Jack, and then you're gonna add another layer of cheddar cheese on top of that. I made the mistake of putting the cheese on the mayonnaise side. You actually have to turn it over. The mayonnaise side has to face the bottom of the pan, so I had to flip it over. It was kind of a mess. We survived. And butter the pan on low heat and then plop the sandwich in, and then I covered the pan and waited for about 3 to 4 minutes until it browned, and then I flipped it over and cooked it the same way on the other side. And once the cheese was all melted, then it was time to deconstruct it. I don't know how it tastes, but my goodness, look at how good this looks. It looks like a professional grilled cheese that you would get at a fancy hipster restaurant. Ooh! The cheese focaccia bread is a solid pro move. It's like I'm a chef or something. I'm not a chef. I actually can't come up with recipes, so thank God for people like HelloFresh who do that for me. That is so good. It tastes like something you would get at this is gonna sound like a dig, but it's not, a diner. You know, diner grilled cheeses, there's just a little extra sweat, love, and tears that go into diner grilled cheeses, and at like 2 o'clock in the morning, there truly is nothing better in the world. It doesn't taste gourmet to me, and I think that's because of the cheeses that I used. I almost wish there was like a sriracha sauce, just a little something extra. I would recommend getting super sharp cheddar. I have to give that one an A-. Oh, there's the dairy. She found me, and it doesn't stop here. Speaking of HelloFresh, you guys know that I've partnered with HelloFresh so many times this year because I am truly obsessed with them and what they offer. They're actually offering you guys a code in order to get 14 free meals using my code. I'll put it on the screen. And in case you're like, well, what is HelloFresh? What is this all about? HelloFresh is a meal delivery service, and they will deliver to your door curated recipes that you choose that are vetted by chefs, that are pre-measured, pre-packaged, so that when you're ready to cook dinner, there's such minimal prep needed. All you have to do is combine the ingredients. They give you the recipe step by step. It's easy. You put it in the pan, and within 20 or 30 minutes, you have a delicious, mind-blowing, chef-curated meal for either you if you're living by yourself or your family. They have all kinds of meal kits for all kinds of diets, whether that's pescatarian or if you're a vegetarian. They have so many recipes that they end up rotating every single week. So every week you have a huge selection of a ton of recipes that you get to pick, select, try, and they're always rotating. So it never gets bored. You can always switch it up with something interesting, new. I love trying recipes from HelloFresh that I'm too scared to try on my own. Even sometimes shopping for ingredients is confusing at the grocery store, and you're like, where do I find rutabaga? Do you guys know what rutabaga is? But if a recipe calls for rutabaga, they just include it in the box, and then you don't have to get lost or confused or waste time at the grocery store or even leave your house, which is the best part. So go to hellofresh.com and use my code ErinRobinson14 for 14 free meals plus shipping. That is hellofresh.com. Use my code ErinRobinson14 for 14 free meals plus shipping. I will include that here on the screen and in the description box below. I saw a viral mac and cheese TikTok, and I was like, this actually was the idea that spawned this entire episode. So this is a viral baked mac and cheese. You're gonna place a block of cheddar cheese in a baking pan, and then you're gonna pour your macaroni pasta all over the cheese kind of evenly, and then you're gonna add half and half chicken broth, some melted butter, and then you're gonna sprinkle in more cheddar and Parmesan shredded cheese. Then you're going to sprinkle in garlic and salt and pepper, and you're gonna bake this at 350 degrees for 25 minutes. Once it's in for 25 minutes, you're gonna take it out and kind of stir it to mix everything, and then you're gonna pop it back in for another 25 minutes to finish baking. And then once it's done, you take it out, and then you have to give it a really good stir. And the consistency ends up being a little bit chunky, but it looks like a damn Southern buffet dream if you ask me. What I like about this recipe is that you don't really dirty up a bunch of dishes. You literally just throw everything in one piece and then pop it in the oven. You better stop. You better stop. Oh my gosh. I just had an out-of-body experience. Okay. I'm so annoyed that I wasted so much time of my life trying to make homemade mac and cheese. It's never good, and every time I make it, I try to make it for Thanksgiving. Matt's always like, oh, it's good. But you can tell he's just loving me. He's not being honest. It's a classic, solid mac and cheese. This is going to make everyone happy. It's kind of a neutral, this is like Geneva of mac and cheeses. I have to give that one a solid A. These are little ranch cheese crisps. Now these were supposed to be ranch flavored cheese crisps. At the grocery store, they didn't have the ranch seasoning that I was looking for, which was really weird. But that's okay, because you can put any seasonings you want on these. So what you do is you shred a block of cheddar cheese and a block of Parmesan cheese. And then I'm gonna season that cheese mix with whatever seasonings you have on hand. I used garlic and onion and paprika. And then you mix it all together. Then you're gonna grab a muffin pan, and I decided I would lightly butter the bottom of the pan to kind of help the crisps not stick. And then you're gonna lightly fill the bottom of each cup of the pan with a pinch of the cheese mixture. The key is to only cover the bottom of each cup. Then you're gonna pop them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 5 to 6 minutes. And then you have these delicious little snacks. Honestly, these would be good by themselves. Like you could just sit and eat these on their own, which I'm probably gonna do after this. But I feel like these would be really good on a charcuterie board or in a salad. Salads are way too healthy for me. I thought using the butter would help me remove these, which it might have, but I feel like the butter started to make these a little soggy. I don't know if I would recommend doing that. See, I want it to crisp like a chip, but I think it has too much butter on it for that. Ow, it cut my mouth. my goodness. This is so perfect. And this doesn't even have the ranch seasoning. It is perfect. I bet you the ranch even makes it even cooler and more unique of a flavor, but the fresh Parmesan and the cheddar together are just like Bennifer 3.0. You know what I mean? I am so full of cheese right now that I'm just gonna go sit down and rest. I'm exhausted. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. And what other TikTok recipes do you want to see me try here on my channel? Let me know. Subscribe if you're here. That would help me so much. Thumbs up this video and give me a comment down below.